Hello and welcome to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at a scenario where all the oceans and all the rivers in the world just become land and disappear. I do have a new map. It is detailed with cities, and it has mountains and other layers. I removed one or two of them, but also all these rivers we're not going to be needing because they're all gone. But also this was recommended to me by comment, so thank you for commenting, and this is a pretty cool scenario. But anyway, we can get into it, but I do want to remind you guys too that Antarctica is not really, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but it's not a country, so it will not be getting any land. But also, I should describe the scenario a little bit. So all these countries are going to, for example, let's do India. So, you know, maybe India wants control of this area, so they're going to go ahead and colonize it, and, no, not that, take over this, and then I'll erase the border. So that is how this is going to work. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it. Also, real quick, I know I keep saying let's get into it, but if all the water was to disappear, civilization would die of thirst, and all these countries would collapse, everyone is dead. But that's not what's going to happen here. We're just gonna say, somehow, civilization survives. I don't know how they would, but a lot of countries are going to be trying to make a claim at once, but we can just start with, I guess, wherever I feel like going first. And I actually think it would be interesting to go to the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea first. We'll start with the Mediterranean Sea, but I'm going to turn off all these layers for now, but we can put them back on later if countries go to war. But anyway, Italy is going to be the first to make a claim, and this is that claim. So they will be annexing all of this land that is in the sea, or was in the sea. And so this is it filled in. But now I think it's interesting, or it would be interesting to take a look at the Balkans. We would maybe see a, which we're just going to have it for this video, but a deal worked out between Croatia and Bosnia to give Bosnia some coast, and give them pretty much everything past here, including this island. And this is because coast doesn't really matter a ton anymore. So actually I don't think that's an island, but anyway, so they're gonna give them that coast, and maybe Bosnia pays Croatia some money in return. But now we can take a look at these borders drawn up. So this is what Croatia and Slovenia look like. But there is a problem when drawing up the borders over here down by Italy. And that is that Montenegro wants this. And that's kind of reasonable, but Bosnia wants this plus this part. And Albania wants this and this, which would only leave Montenegro with this, which is still, a good extension, but Montenegro wants more. So we are going to see these three countries go into a little bit of a standoff, but ultimately the borders will be I can't talk. I can never talk. That's a trending theme, but we're going to see the borders redrawn. And these are the borders redrawn. So Albania will get this, just like they wanted, but they'll also get this, just as Bosnia will get this and this. and Montenegro will get the rest. So Montenegro still doubles in size about, but yeah, so let me fill in these borders. And this is it filled in, but I do have to hurry up because if I don't, this is going to be an hour-long video. So let's see what the eastern part of the Mediterranean, what borders will happen here. And this is how the eastern Mediterranean Sea is going to be divided up. There was some problem with the Greeks and Turkish, as well as the two Cypresses. But yeah, let me go ahead and fill this in. And here's the splitting up of the eastern Mediterranean Sea, also giant Malta. And now we can take a look at the western part of the Mediterranean. This is what it looks like with the old borders there. And this is what this looks like filled in. But now, I guess let's take a look at the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and the Red Sea. And these are these four areas divided. I went ahead and threw the Persian Gulf in there. And one thing too, this would, if we were ignoring the Russian invasion of Ukraine, this would probably, most of this, be Ukrainian. But since Russia does occupy it, I just went ahead and gave it to them. But maybe in this alternate timeline, if Ukraine won the war, they would get some of this area. But let's go ahead and fill this in. So here they are, all these countries filled in. And now we can take a look at the Nordics and the Baltic Sea. And in a conference in Stockholm, we see a bunch of countries gather to work out a big deal of basically Northern Europe. So let me color all of it in. And this is it all colored in. Now, there's probably quite a few questions you have. First, what is this thing? Well, this is a new country that is going to be set up by all the conference members. And also, another question is, what is going on here? Well, actually, in the conference, it was agreed to let Sweden and Finland have some coast and land, but Norway will get a bunch of sea, or previously sea, in the process. So yeah, let me color this all in. And here it is, all filled in. It looks very strange, and the world map is starting to look very odd. But also we see, due to Denmark not being able to access Greenland anymore, we see Greenland ultimately vote on a union with Iceland. I don't know what this would be called, but a union between Greenland and Iceland will form, and it also includes this previously island of Norway, because Norway cannot access that anymore. But yeah, so this country will also lay out their claims. And quickly, as these claims roll out, it appears, well, not, I mean, yeah, it does appear that this country would be among one of the biggest. It looks comparable to China, but of course Greenland is a lot smaller than it is on this map. So yeah, but anyway, let's fill this all in. And with this filled in, we see a similar conference to the Stockholm Conference take place over here in the Caribbean that will define the new borders of this region. And these are the borders drawn up. But also it is important to note, just like what I'm going to have with French Guiana, it's going to become independent. Because with land rising, or the water becoming land, France can't really access that anymore. So it's a similar situation, with, France's colonies. I think they still have 2 islands over here, or I think it's this and that. And of course the U.S. with Puerto Rico. So it's all just going to become a unified Caribbean country, partly because I just don't feel like I need to give every single country their own colors. So we're just going to unify them all, but let's fill this all in. And so the Caribbean is now filled in, but we also see that Hawaii and Alaska will both be breaking away. Let me find a good color for Hawaii, and we'll give Alaska a kind of darker one. But yeah, so both of these areas of the United States break away because the United States cannot access them. But now going over here to Russia and also Norway, where claims will be made throughout this northern area. And Russia will very, very much secure their position as the biggest country in the world. And speaking of biggest country or countries in the world, let's take a look at Canada and what they claim. But before anything happens, they're going to go ahead and invade Alaska to get them some more territory. And they'll go along the southern coast, and Alaska will surrender. And just in case you're wondering, it is full annexation. And Canada is very giant now. I know I just said that Russia has now secured their place for the biggest country in the world, but that is quickly being challenged by Canada, who, let me see, is only a little bit smaller than Russia. And that's kind of frightening. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Canadians are still pretty weak. But yeah. Let me think where else to go now. Now we're heading over here to the Horn of Africa. But quickly, too, I do want to say about Africa, this is actually probably, for the most part, what it still looks like, because a lot of the countries here aren't stable enough to actually colonize anything, so they're not going to. But Ethiopia and South Africa are, as well as Egypt and some other nations too. But Ethiopia doesn't actually touch any water, so they're gonna go ahead and start to invade Somaliland, so that they can. And as they start to invade, Somalian forces will also invade, and they will take out a majority of Somaliland. And Ethiopia only gets a little bit of coast, so they will launch an invasion into Somaliland, if that makes any sense, and capture it all. And we can turn on cities. Now the Ethiopians go down, capturing this city and cutting Somalia into 2, as they will slide down the coast and also go inward, taking the capital city on from 2 angles, with these 2 cities as well as the capital falling. Somalia will go ahead and surrender and will be fully annexed. So let me color that in. Ethiopia is now going to present themselves as one of the stronger nations in Africa, probably among the top 4, which would probably be Egypt, South Africa, Ethiopia, Nigeria, maybe Algeria. Probably Algeria. Maybe Morocco too. I don't know, but they are a very strong country in Africa, and they are going to make some claims to the sea. or I should say the former sea. So Ethiopia will take a bunch of land, and they will also just go ahead and annex this island that was Yemen's. But now we see the East African Federation form, or at least, well, actually, I think the East African Federation does include Democratic Republic of the Congo, but a massive union forms. I'm just gonna call this the African Federation just for simplicity, because I feel like East would be, I mean, I guess this is kind of like the East of Africa if you divide it in a line. But I feel like, I don't know, but I'm just gonna call it the African Federation. But when they form, they're going to lead, well, I guess I need to update this, but hold on. But they will launch an invasion of the Republic of the Congo, separating them into two, and quickly knocking out the northern part, which is probably less populated. Well, maybe, I don't know. And now they will begin to knock out the South, and will quickly finish the job, and it will be full annexation. Also, I'm not sure where this country's capital will be. Anyway, the African Federation forms, its capital's over here, and it will quickly begin to claim areas. And these borders are pretty horrible. But now we come down to South Africa, where they are going to put their claims, which will surely be nothing big, right? They claim all of this, which is pretty big. And, I mean, they can kind of just do this because there's really no one else down here. So all of this area will become part of South Africa. And it causes some of these smaller African countries in between to kind of panic, and they will form their own union, as unlikely as it might be, just for the scenario though. So if I can find a good color, let's unite them. And with this new country formed, South Africa is mad, and they will go ahead and invade. This is either Lesotho or Eswatini. Let me see which one. Okay, it's Lesotho or Lesotho. I don't know how to say it. I probably should. Anyway, Madagascar and these other countries are going to unite together into Madagascar, including this portion of France, and they are going to lay a big claim. This new republic becomes very large, and we shortly after see this new South African Republic, or South African Federation, I don't know what it would be. They will claim over the rest of this sea, or what used to be sea, whatever that was. But they also will make a claim out here, and it'll be a pretty big one. And so Africa's borders just start to look very bad. But lucky for the borders, Angola may have started a little invasion by accident. Which I don't know how you do an invasion by accident, but into the Democratic Republic. Or actually, no, that's not the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is the African Federation, and the African Federation will quickly invade back at them and start to take out a lot of land. But the South African Federation, or whatever it is, probably maybe a federation, but they will also invade. And Angola is pretty much just split down the middle, as both of these countries will simply just split it up. But with South Africa being divided up and all of this, we see the Conference of, or maybe Richmond. Yeah, we'll say that. Which basically divides up the Atlantic Ocean, or at least what used to be the Atlantic Ocean, and a bunch of countries attend it, and we can see what, just what happens. And here's how the Atlantic is divided up. So, first of all, there are some new countries, such as this one, this blue one, this dark greenish gray one, this blue one, and this brown one. And also there were some land exchanges. Well, not really exchanges, but Argentina gets the Falklands, and also, which was it? Oh, Morocco gets these islands that were Spanish. So anyway, let me color this all in. So that's going to take a while. And this is the Atlantic Ocean colored in. But that is going to do it because I've been recording for about 3.5 hours. Well, actually, no. 2.5, but I don't know. I've been recording for a while and I have other stuff to get done. But thank you guys for watching. And maybe even we can make this a series, maybe a part 2 even, maybe not a series, just a part 2. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And I thought this was a really interesting idea, so thank you, commenter. Bye.